Hi everyone, this is CricketSong with Lunar Wisdom, and you are watching a tarot spread video. In this video, we're going to be going over the spread Self-Improvement. Self-Improvement, and it's going to act as an aid to meditation. So before you meditate, you would use this spread to help you uncover information about yourself that might be helpful in your meditation. You can find this spread in this book, Illustrated Tarot Spreads by Filner and Schreiner. I've got this on Amazon, not sure how much, but it is on page 24. Self-Improvement, Aid to Meditation. That's where you can find this spread. If you look, it looks like it's in the position of the Hanged Man. So let's talk about the positions of this spread. Card number 1 is this middle card here, and that is who and how am I? So this card is going to reveal who and how am I. Card number 2, which is right here, we're going to pull this down a little bit. Card number 2 is how do I want to be? Card number 3 is the top card there. How am I supposed to be? Card number 4, which is right there, is where did I come from? Card number 5 is where will my destiny lead me? If you don't believe in destiny or don't subscribe to that, you could call that where is this path leading me? Where is my energies leading to? What is the probability? Where am I heading? You could use that. Card number 6, which is this one right here, my purpose in life or my mission in life. Card number 7, help from the spiritual world. So this would be sort of like message from spirits, or the help that spirits is going, the guidance, the help that the spirits are going to help me with. And number 8, help from the soul, meaning my higher self. What am I going to help myself with? So let's take a look at what these cards are, and I will talk about how to interpret it if these were the cards that I had in the spread. So who am I and how am I is this position. Card number 2, how do I want to be? Card number 3, how am I supposed to be? Card number 4, where did I come from? Card number 5, where will my destiny lead me? Card number 6, what is my purpose or what is my mission? Card number 7, help from the spiritual world. And card number 8, help from the soul. Ironically enough, it's the Hanged Man. Okay, so look at these cards. And actually, the first thing that I noticed is that the first 4 cards are the pips or the suits, and the last 4 cards are major arcana. So I would take note of that. So the last 4 is where will my destiny lead me? What is my purpose? Help from the spirit world and help from the soul or higher self. All those are major arcana cards, which tell me, without even doing anything else here, that whatever's going on is definitely very profound, very powerful, and needs to, or it would be most beneficial for the person I'm doing a reading for. If it's me, I should really take note of what's going on here, because it seems like this is really important for me. This information in regards to what's going on within myself spiritually is of great importance to my overall growth as a spiritual being. So I would take note of that. Okay, so card number one, who and how am I? And card number one is the Two of Wands there. So this talks to me about how am I and who am I? It seems like I'm hesitating. It seems like I am standing here and I'm looking at where I want to go. I'm looking at where my energy is sort of pushing me towards, but I'm not taking any action. I'm just sort of contemplating it here. I'm looking at all the possibilities and I'm sort of in this holding pattern. That my energies are trying to propel me towards something. I'm looking like I want to go somewhere. Like I have all these thoughts maybe and these ideas and this yearning and this pulling, but I'm not doing anything about it. I'm just standing here. I'm at the threshold. I'm standing between the two wands. I'm like just about ready to go somewhere, but I'm not going. What's holding me back? And this is probably a great time to do a meditation, because being in this sort of like verge of blossoming or verge of stepping forward is a good place to start meditating. So the whole spread is about self-improvement. So this is a good time for this. Being in this energy is a good time to consider this and to think about this and being ready to spring forward and do something. So number two, how do I want to be? So number two is the Queen of Cups. So when I look at court cards, it talks about a specific person or a specific role or a specific, personality. So maybe there's someone I am looking at and I'm thinking, wow, I want to be like her, or I want to be like him. This role is what I want. And usually when I see the Queen of Cups, she's someone who is a healer, someone who is spiritual even, whether it's an actual doctor or nurse or a mental healer or a Reiki master or an energy worker or a spiritual guide or a guidance person, someone who does therapy, someone who cares for others, someone who treats not necessarily just the physical. We're looking at a holistic, whole body approach, someone who heals the person in all aspects of who they are. Someone, maybe they're a someone who does dream interpretations. It's dealing with not specifically focusing on the physical aspect of a person, but the non-physical aspects of the person that do manifest in a physical. She could even be a mother, someone who nurtures children. She could be a teacher, or he could be a teacher. But this is what I want to be. This is who I am visualizing myself to be. I am someone who is dealing with that element of water. I am someone who is maybe more in touch with my spiritual self. Maybe I am looking at to be a healer to myself. That's how I want to be. I want to be this person, or I want to be like this person, or I want to be more sensitive, more emotional, more nurturing, more receptive. This card is very feminine energy, so specifically manifested in a physical person. That's what I want to be. The card number three up here is the Page of Wands. That's how am I supposed to be. Now you can interpret this position, how am I supposed to be? Because this is looking at self-improvement, I would suggest that this card is suggesting what is most beneficial for you to be at this time, being interpreted as what I'm supposed to be. So we want to see if what's most beneficial, where I'm supposed to be, is in alignment with where I want to be. Okay, so here we see the Page of Wands. So when I look at pages, again, court cards talk to me about like a person or a personality. And when I look at the queens, that's sort of like mature. And when I look at the pages, they're immature, and not in a negative way, but they're young, they're new, they're just at the beginning. Page, Knight, King and Queen. King and Queen I see as equal polarities of the same, masculine, feminine, where Page and Knights, they are immature, adolescence, and then king and queens are adults. So in that sort of spectrum, that growth, I look at pages as new and young and eager and carefree, kind of careless, but new energies. So where am I supposed to be? What would be most beneficial for me right now would have the characteristics of a young energy, an energy that is thriving and is eager of, going towards something. And because I'm looking at the wands, it talks to me about energy moving forward in this eager, enthusiastic flow. It's like just starting, it's just budding, it's breaking through and running fast forward. So where I want to be is this more sensitive, nurturing, mature energy, very feminine, receptive energy. But where I'm supposed to be right now is this young, vibrant, eager, enthusiastic energy. So these could be in alignment, but I feel like I'm not yet where I want to be. And if I would go where I'm supposed to be, it would be a step in the right direction towards that. Where did I come from? That's this card right here. Where did I come from? So I look at the Eight of Pentacles, and this talks about work and effort and practicality and physicality, because pentacles represent earth for me. So it's really talking about being focused on the physical realm, focused on practical ways of getting things done. And it talks about putting in the effort and the work into doing that. That's where I've come from. So perhaps I just came out of super focus on something. Maybe I've been super focused on getting physically healthy or physically fit. Maybe I've been really focused on obtaining a job to make money. Maybe I've been very focused on my job. Maybe I've been very focused on, moving. And I'm just thinking of things that have happened actually in my life. So moving from one place to another and setting up house and finding an occupation, making money. Maybe I've been very focused on that. That's where I've come from. We could even suggest that this might even go beyond just the last few months. Where have I come from in the last year? Where did I come from in what was I brought up in? What are the echoes of my childhood? Maybe it's been very super hyper focused on money and finances and physicality. That's where I came from. Where is it that my destiny will lead me, or where is my future? And here we see a major arcana card, the Tower card. And the Tower card talks about transformation. It talks about breaking down the old ways to establish new ways. It talks about purification. It talks about releasing. It talks about destroying and deconstructing things that I've counted on. So if we're looking at the past being, more practical, more earth-based, and we're looking at what I want, which is more water-based, and we look at where I should be, which is more, for when I look at wands, I see them as air, more air-based, then the Tower card is talking about destroying the foundation, destroying the earth in order to bring about the transformation. So the Tower card talks about that. The Tower card represents the phoenix, burning down to recreate from the ash. So my future is about transformation. My future is about change, radical change, great changes. What is my purpose in life? What is my mission? The moon. Well, here the moon talks about illuminating the things in darkness with the reflection of the light, because the moon itself isn't a point of light. It's just a reflection. It reflects the sunlight, and that's why it looks like the moon glows. It's just reflecting light back to earth. So the moon shines in darkness. It reveals the shadows, and it shows where we want to explore further. So my mission, my purpose is to do that. So my mission is to help others discover shadows. My mission is to discover shadows. It could be, you know, like investigative reporting. It could be being a detective. It could be, you know, sniffing out the lies or revealing the truth. However it is. I mean, doing tarot readings reveals the truth that's hidden within. You know, it could be things of that sort, but it's sort of finding the places and sort of poking at them, or shining more light upon them, that kind of thing. Like, that's what my purpose would be. So for me, CricketSong, obviously this is telling me that I'm doing what my purpose is. You know, I'm revealing things, but that can be illustrated in many different ways. Number 7 is help from the spiritual world. The Death card is here. So normally the Death card talks about sort of like reincarnation or rebirth. It talks about where the Tower card destroys things to rebuild it. The Death card talks about ending things, not destroying things, but physically ending things in order to start something fresh, something completely different. Where the Tower card talks about taking something and smashing it and taking those same pieces and doing something new with it, or rebuilding a better version of it. The Death card talks about completely severing ties because something else is coming in. Totally different aspects of this. So an example of the Tower card might be the caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Same organism, different manifestation of that. Where the Death card would be the butterfly dying to become a human. Like totally different things, but still life. That's the difference. So in this reading though, because we're talking about help from the spiritual world, I almost feel like we're talking about spirits of the beloved dead aiding. So for me, if this was for me, I'd say, okay, so help from the spirit world. I am going to use mediumship to get messages from the dead to help me see how I can attain my purpose, or how I can attain my self-improvement. I'm going to be looking for signs and messages from my beloved dead, from the ancestors, capital A, from the spirit world in general, but specifically from the dead is how I would read that. And the help from the soul, help from my higher self, is the Hanged Man. And when I see the Hanged Man, it speaks of sacrificing. It speaks of giving up something in order to attain something, like the story of Odin, who gave up his eye in order to attain wisdom and to reach for the runes, be given the runes. It's talking about sacrificing, giving up something in order to attain something else. It talks about being in a position of vulnerability. It talks about hanging there and waiting and having patience in attaining this. It's not going to happen quickly. So understanding that this transformation, this improvement of self, is going to take time. That's how I would read this with the Rider-Waite. I'm going to share the Green Witch Tarot is the cards that I've been using. So we're going to place these cards alongside these or over these so we can compare how it would look with this deck. So the Two of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the Page of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, the Death card, the Tower card, the Moon, the Death card, and the Hanged Man. Okay, so starting at the beginning, the Two of Wands looks very similar. I'm just going to move these cards down so we can look a little here. So the Two of Wands here, we have the Two of Wands in the Rider-Waite, the figure is looking away. The Two of Wands here, she is looking forward. And she's waving goodbye to someone driving away. So again, this still tells me that she is waiting. She is seeing what is available, but she's not taking motion. She's not going with the person in the card. She isn't going with them, but she sees the chances and the opportunities. So again, she's not taking action. She's still waiting. So again, I would definitely read that in the same manner. How do I want to be is still the Queen of Chalices here, the Queen of Cups. Very similar. I would still read that in exactly the same way. Nothing great changes in that card. 3, how am I supposed to be? We have the Page of Wands. Very similar, except this Page of Wands has an actual wand, and there's sort of an indication of magic coming from his wand. So I would suggest here that, yes, the suggestion to me here using the Green Witch Tarot would suggest that I should be practicing. You know, I should be using and spell casting and using magic. I should not just be waiting, but I should actually be practicing. I should be, you know, using my wand per se, using that I have, using that energy and manifesting a change, doing something. So I'm in this holding pattern, and what I should be doing is actually doing it. So that's a little different in the interpretation, a little different, but still the same overall message. So the Tower card in the Rider-Waite is the Wild Hunt in the Green Witch Tarot. So I would still say, I would still interpret it in the same way. Transformation, there is a hunting down of something, a tearing down, sort of a destruction of something. The Wild Hunt, you know, you're going out there, the whole myth behind the Wild Hunt, riding the skies and making this big change, right? This big change. The Moon, I would still interpret the same way as well. The image here I like definitely better. You know, the figure here going to see what the Moon is revealing in the dark forest, hunting out what is, she's harvesting herbs. So definitely looking for something in the dark, something that only maybe the light of the moon would reveal. And if I look at it that way, I would suggest tapping into lunar energies, goddess energies, feminine energies, and really using that and listening to that intuition to understand where it is I should go to reveal the truths. So still revealing truths, but in a little bit of a different way. The Death card here in the Rider-Waite is seen as the Lord of Shadows in the Green Witch Tarot. A blue butterfly here looking at a man and his son. The Lord of Shadows peeking behind the tree. Still feel as if we're still talking about messages from the death, messages from the dead, messages from specifically the Lord of Shadows. If that is an image or a entity that I might work with, whoever I would identify as the Lord of Shadows, and listening to what he might say and how he might counsel me. So still, I would still interpret that in the same way. And the last card, the Hanged Man, here is the Oak King in the Green Witch Tarot. Definitely very similar image. So the only difference is not only sacrificing, giving up something, but being a witch and working with the natural primordial forces found within nature, I might use this as sort of a direction as to what I might sacrifice. I might have to sacrifice something to the Oak King in order to attain something. A message from self telling me I need to address that masculine energy. Maybe there is something I need to sort of let go or release into nature in order to help and find ways to improve myself. So a little different interpretation there, but very much the same message. So if you decide to do this self-improvement spread for your meditation, please share your findings with me. If you have comments or questions, please put them in the comments here as well. And until next time, I love you. Blessed be. Mwah.